Yes. Tests. That's not good. OBS, please. Okay, finally got it. And shit. Fuck, hold on. Something's wrong with the internet. Pokemon, go to the polls. Go to the polls. Shit, hold on. Yeah, it's way slower than it should be. Hold on a second. I think I know how to fix it, though. Disconnected. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. I think it's an issue on the router end. Are the box art legendaries the Goto archetype? Yeah, Koraidon and Miraidon are the Gotos of Scarlet and Violet. Cause you just get them for the final fight. You're so real for that. Bumpara. Okay, we good. Let me make sure this is still working. Did this fix? That fixed. Okay, we're good. We're good. So, I put my Explorer outfit on and I came back here because when I read the documentation, I realized I actually have a bunch of rewards from Professor Leah because of 311 Pokemon and caught 156. So here's all my rewards that I get. First, my Lego Fire Emblem minifigure is done. The Soldier. Is it official or unofficial Lego Fire Emblem? Yo, Loaded Dice though? Wait! Loaded Dice is actually huge. Oh, 27's return, I know that. Yeah, TM27's always return. Oh shit, okay, we get evolution trios. So we can get the outfits now, because we have the starter trio. I'm making one of every class. Get back out there! Alright, well, we got the starter trios. So we can go to Fresco Islands. Do you have the Johto trio? I'm missing Johto. But I got the others, I think. Which, is it here? Outfit lady is in the island with type null. Okay. So over here, that's the gym. I vastly overestimated my abilities to navigate this area. That's what we've got Dick Licker for. Dick Licker can fly us home. Ooh, we could grab Trapinch and see what Mega Flygon looks like. Since we have infinite rare candies now. We could do that. How's everyone doing tonight, by the way? Is everyone excited for the Mega Dimension? Where they just took the world map of ZA and painted it all slightly off color? In honor of the Mega Dimension, I'm naming this Flygon DLC. Too bad Flygon doesn't get a Mega in the DLC. People will still try to claim... People will still try to claim that it was not cut content. Even though we knew the list of all the Megas before the game came out. Or when the game came out. Before the DLC came out. Missing Paldea? What do you mean missing? I got trios from the professor. What do you mean I'm missing? I got trios from the professor. You mean the clearly cut from the base game dimension? People will still claim it wasn't! And like, you know, in fairness, I can't say for 100% certain, but I can say for pretty damn certain, because they announced it before the game was out. We had all of the information before the DLC was out. Day one the game was out, you know, data miners found it, right? It's just an off filter for the same city. So even if it is technically new content, it's not really. And I think this is the most damning, right? The game came out like a month ago. It's the same as Donkey Kong, because that's the Pokemon fans will then be like, but you liked Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah, it doesn't mean that its DLC isn't scummy. Doesn't mean that its DLC isn't transparent cut content. Donkey Kong Bonanza put their equivalent of the Mushroom Kingdom from Odyssey, the DK Isle, and their equivalent of Luigi Balloon Run, Emerald Rush, behind a $30 price tag. That's scummy. But you liked Fire Emblem Engage? Yeah, and its DLC is also scummy. They locked a discount on the prices behind you paying real money. If you want the silver card, pay real money. If you want to play the shittiest campaign ever, play real money. Ooh. Alolan fashion. Hell yeah. I've said it before and I say it again. The only good DLC is Hollow Knight's Grim Troop and Godmaster. Hollow Knight was free DLC. I have to keep reminding people of that because they'll be like, oh, you know, Hollow Knight wasn't a ripoff. Yeah, it wasn't a ripoff because it was free. I do think we have occasionally had good DLC. But I think more often than not, in the vast majority of cases, DLC is not only a scam, but very frequently it's siphoned off from the real game. Didn't Smash U give Piranha Plant for free at first? No, I believe what it was is Piranha Plant. So Piranha Plant was day one DLC, but I don't think it was free. I think you had to have like a online membership or something. It was like free with an asterisk, right? Like nothing's truly free when it comes to Nintendo. I don't remember the specifics. It was day one, right? Yeah, I have the Kalos trio. Why does she say I'm missing someone from the Kalos trio? I have the Kalos trio. Why did she say I'm missing someone from the Kalos trio? She said you're missing Paldea, but she didn't give Kalos. I'm missing Johto and Paldea, but doesn't she also have Kalos? Can I just say this Froakie looks so cute? DLC should only be used if the devs come up with new ideas after the game releases, and it should be free. I think that's probably a little more extreme than I would go. I think DLC should be if something is genuinely additive, right? If you get a full and complete experience rather than parsoning off something else. I also think DLC should be priced reasonably, right? According to Nintendo, it's okay to release unfinished games unless you pay $30 more. I'll spoil something for you. Unfortunately, that's not a Nintendo problem. That's a game industry problem. What is the controversy with SOV's DLC? The big one, and I think this is, like, worth pointing out, right, is, SOV's DLC cost more than the base game, right? SOV, cost, I think, $40 because it was a 3DS game, and they were cheaper than main console games. Those were the days. But if you wanted all the DLC, which, mind you, was also super overpriced, and that's, like, the other problem with DLC, is they'll use it to, like, squeeze out the price versus content ratio, which, you know, people use playtime, and I don't think playtime is necessarily the most accurate thing, but I do think price versus content is a valid thing to bring up, especially when, like, at the end of the day, money is limited. Everyone only has so much money, right? And so one of the things that often comes up with DLC is it's like, okay, you pay $60 for a full campaign, right? Let's say a full campaign is 30 chapters, 30 levels, whatever, right? That seems reasonable. That's a reasonable price. Then they say if you want to play this bonus chapter, it's $5. Which doesn't sound like a lot. $5 for a bonus chapter? $5 is nothing. I mean, $5 isn't nothing to a lot of people. $5 is like a meal. But that's the sort of the impression it gives in your brain, right? It's like, yeah, you know, it's not that much content. Sure, one chapter's not that much, but $5 is nothing. But what if you were paying a $60 game and you only got 12 levels, right? Suddenly, that's $5 per level, and it feels like if you get Lin mode for $60, and all you get is Lin mode, that's an obvious ripoff, right? So by parsing it out into smaller portions where you pay smaller prices, it's so much easier for these companies to sort of squeeze and nickel and dime you for like, we're giving you very, very little and asking for a lot more in comparison. This was a thing that happened with Dragon Age Origins, and it had a ton of different DLC packs. All of them were like $5 or $10. But they all also only had like, okay, pay $5, you get one mission. Pay $5, you get one companion. You get two, this one has 2 missions and a companion. So you have to pay $15 for it. But it's okay. It gives you more content than the other DLC packs, right? Other than the silver card, I don't think Engage had too scummy of DLC. The new emblems, new characters, new maps. I can't recall the price though. I think, obviously the silver card is the scummy thing. You can argue, and I go back and forth on this, but you can argue like the emblems in the DLC were pretty clearly overtuned, and it seemed, some people accused it, and I don't know whether I feel this is accurate or not, but some people accused it of being pay to win, where it's like, we're locking the super powerful. Oh, we already caught a Tropius, I didn't realize that. Behind you paying real life money, right? And like, if that's the case, it is kind of scummy, but I think the real scummy thing about the DLC, right, for Engage, is that it was a season pass. If you just wanted the emblem bracelets, too bad you're stuck with Felxenologue. If you just want Fel Xenologue, too bad, you're stuck with the emblem bracelets. They did the same thing with 3 houses, where it's 4 waves. So because we're giving you 4 DLC packs, there's 4 of them, we can justify $30, because it's 4 packs. It's 4 packs. So it costs $30. Pack number 1 is an outfit. Pack number 2 is the sauna. Pack number 3 is Anna. And pack number 4 is the actual thing people want, the campaign. The campaign's not $30. You're getting 4 packs for $30. But if you want the campaign, you have to buy the whole season pass. If you want to play Cindered Shadows, you get the new characters, and you get the new campaign and whatnot. That's $30, but they can pretend it's not actually $30 because it's part of the pass. And Engage does the same thing. It's a $30 DLC pass, and that includes all 7 Emblem bracelets, all 7 Paralogs. Also, Edelgard is there. Also, you get the silver card, and you get the alternate dimension. That's so much value. But what if all I want is Edelgard? What if I'm like, you know, 3 Houses super fan or whatever, and I just want the Edelgard Dimitri Claude ring? Too bad. Too bad. $30, please. What if I know that the alternate dimension campaign is absolute garbage and I just want the bracelets because I'm struggling with the main campaign and I want an easier time? Too bad. $30. Awakening had like $100 worth of DLC. Yeah, and a lot of it was, you know, I said there's debate about whether or not the Engage one is pay to win. A lot of the Awakening one and Fates ones are literally pay to win. And I don't say that as judgment. You know, I think if somebody's having difficulty beating you know, Awakening and Fates, they should be allowed to see the end of the story. You know, that's what casual mode and Phoenix mode are for. If you're, like, engaged in this story, you like these characters, you want to see where things end up, and people will make fun of it because, like, Awakening Fates had pretty bad stories, but I do think there are people who, like, they got halfway through the story, they want to see how it ends, right? And I think that's, like, a valid thing to want. Hello, my lover. And so, being like, hey, you know, you can play this map that gets you easy experience. You can play this map that gets you easy gold. You can play this map that gets you easy money. Or not money, items. Because they sold, like, the Haunted Experience, the Haunted Gold, the Haunted Items. Which were just 3 grind maps, but grind maps that, like... It's like how Assassin's Creed sold the, like, double EXP multiplier. Where it just exists to be like, are you sick of grinding? Pay us money and we'll let you not have to grind. And that's like, you know, it's scummy, right? Also, Psychic Fairy... I guess we go Rutger. Forgive me, this is completely inaccurate, but if you could only buy Eliwood mode for $60 and then pay $30 for Lyn mode and Hector mode exclusive maps. Yeah, I think that's probably, like, that's kind of similar, yeah. That's a good comparison. Awakening had Apotheosis as DLC, so they sold you a problem, and then they sold you the solution to the problem. Apotheosis is really interesting. It's a shame that, like, it's cool as, like, a super challenge, right? Like, this is our big super challenge. But unfortunately, I am, like, I'm not particularly interested in it. Because it requires so much grinding, right? I don't like grinding in Fire Emblem, and in most situations. I liked it in Final Fantasy Tactics, though, because it made the grinding actually interesting. I think that's the first time that I've, like, genuinely enjoyed grinding since I was a small baby child who had, no fucking, like, conception of time, right? Because I think as a kid, I was very much just... I'm willing to spend whatever time doing whatever, right? I got Venusaur to level 100 in blue version somehow. Is Apotheosis the hardest map in all the Fire Emblem games you have played? Well, I haven't played Apotheosis. But I would argue Apotheosis is not the hardest map in Fire Emblem. Because I think its form of difficulty is not, I wouldn't necessarily call it artificial difficulty, but it is a little bit like, it feels a little bit like false difficulty. In that it mostly is solved through grinding and capping your units, right? And it does get interesting once you have those capped units. And you have to use, like, it's not just, numbers don't solve it, but they are required for it. I think it's overrated. I think the early game of Lunatic is honestly harder. I would agree with that assessment. You know, I haven't played Apotheosis, so it's possible that I'm, you know, understating things, but Awakening's early chapters, like the first 4 chapters on Lunatic and Lunatic Plus, I think are some of the hardest Fire Emblem out there. FE12 might be harder depending on your particular, like, what, because that's the other thing, is they're different challenges, and different challenges are going to impact different people differently, right? The other thing is it's often hard to judge a Fire Emblem game's difficulty because a lot of it comes down to information. You know, it's not fully solved. Well, I mean, it is. It's an information game, right? Like, there's some amount of, like, risk management and whatnot, but at the end of the day, since Fire Emblem is a tactics game, right? There's no action or input elements. It all comes down to, like, figuring out the strategy. And that's why, you know, I've seen I've seen some YouTube videos that are like, oh, you know, this supposedly hard Fire Emblem challenge is actually easy. You're just playing it wrong. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of how it works, right? Like, it's not easy because you know the solution. You just know the solution. It's like it's like watching someone struggle to play a puzzle game that you've already beat, right? And be like, well, that's easy. I already know the answer. Why is it taking you so long to figure out how to get into this room in blueprints? I already know how to do that, right? Like... And so there does tend to be this, like, kind of weird... sort of, like, superiority thing that I see in some, like, more experienced Fire Emblem players. It's Team Chimera territory, hell yeah. Where there's the assumption that, like, because I know something that you don't know, right? Because I know how this thing works, you must be stupid for having that knowledge gap. And I kind of hate that, like, idea. Skill procs and Awakening are the Venn diagram intersection with Scald Burns and Pokemon. But the Awakening early game doesn't have skill procs. Because your units are too low level to have proc skills, and, there's no proc skills on the enemies either. Even if you're playing Lunatic Plus, those are all guaranteed skills, right? Like, Hawkeye reduces RNG. You can say, you know, there's some RNG in figuring out which, like, there's some RNG in, like, which skills people end up with. But once you see what's on the map, you know, you have the information to work with now. Is it possible to beat Apotheosis immediately after Chapter 4 without grinding? My instinct says no, but someone's probably gonna do it with, like, a 0.01% success rate. And then I'll look like Boo Boo the Fool for doubting them. I shouldn't have doubted you, fucking gamers. A cool idea I heard for Pokemon is a legendary trio based on goat, lion, and dragon, and they fuse into a chimera. That's interesting. I think we just leave 6-7 in the front. Like, I like having Intimidate in the front. Either that or Amelia, because Amelia's, you know, goated. Oh, spam bot. Spam bot! Ban you. Oh, it's levitating, ain't it? Okay. I think we can probably just jaw lock you. Sturdy? No, we happen to just get that shot. Hey, I'm fine with a sandstorm. I've got a steel type and a ground type. Sad that I don't have a rock type to benefit from it, but you know, it be how it be. Getting murdered by counter may suck, but at least it's guaranteed to happen. Counter is a big reason why bows are like one of the best weapons in Awakening. Not the only reason, because being able to attack uncountered is also good, but the secret sauce is if you leave a bow equipped on enemy phase, usually that's bad because it means you don't counterattack anyone. But in Awakening, that's good because it means you don't counterattack anyone, which means you can't take counter damage on enemy phase. And like, that's how you die, is if you've got like a strong enemy phase unit and they accidentally counter people. It's astounding how good music sounds in the GBA sound fonts. Yeah, it's really nice. Chat, I was gonna name this goat LeBron because LeBron's the goat, but it's a girl. Wild Go-Goats scale sheer mountains with ease. Their fur is covered in mud. They have the ability to feel riders' thoughts. Well, if you feel thoughts, I'll name you Empath. We're probably not using any of the new Pokemon I'm catching. Like, I think the team we've currently got is just, this is our squad. Plus, like, the couple of bench warmers. Oh, okay. So if we've got, let's go Emilia and 6-7. Because we can Earthquake Detect. We're gonna totally beat you. Hey, punk. Mega Rabombi is surprisingly good in this game. I did just catch a Rabombi, but I feel like I want to keep myself with, you know, the people I've got. Okay, Dracloak. Not even... Wow, wait, is this... Are you, like, too low level? I think we actually fake out Omnistar. I was going to... My plan was to detect, but I think Omnistar is going to attack 6-7. So we fake out Omnistar. We're fine with Emilia taking damage here because of Regenerator. Dracloak is dead. And the Citrus Berry, and the Citrus Berry. Crocodilio Gaming. Caparaja. I should have just detected, but I think Omnistar had Sturdy. I know it can get Sturdy. Let's just Earthquake Detect this time. Energy Ball? Why didn't you use an Ice-type move? That also would have been super effective. Do you not have, like, Blizzard or whatever? Alright, I think we switch... If you're gonna Energy Ball, I think we switch to Butger. And... Bike Wazowski. I really like how Bike Wazowski looks from the back. Ice Beam! Screen Peeker! Screen Peeker! We have a max revive. It's fine. We'll revive after this fight. But Screen Peeker! Frostlass is interesting because she fits Snorunt more than Glalie as an evolution, even though it's a later gen add-on. We lost a 2v1. That's embarrassing. I love Primarina's cry. It sounded really good. I liked it. Where's Max Revive? Alright, Bike Wazowski, you're back up. And Potion you. And do we have a Citrus Berry to give Amelia? More Chimera. Where'd the old man go? Why does Rutger have a shield? Did he second seer the hero? Everyone keeps saying that. Like, do y'all expect me to not name the Swordmaster Pokemon after a Swordmaster? It's honestly quite silly of you. I think we shift to Poop Girl. Because we resist this, we'll be neutral to steel attacks. And then we just Sparkling Aria. Damn, Poop Girl outspeeds Scizor? That's impressive. We'll be neutral here because water resists steel. Damn, that's still a lot of damage though. Exposed Toes? That's an interesting enemy team. Exposed Toes? What do you mean exposed toes? Budget Butker. Goodbye, Rumpardos. Eat shit. Oh, the enemy trainer sprite. Yeah, I mean, they're based off of, they're like, they got Greek outfits on. I think it makes sense that have, like, the sandals. Not everything is fetish content. Unless you want it to be. You should have used Eviolite Doublade for Rutger. But then people would ask why he's wielding two swords, then he should be Ryoma. There's no winning. This Leaf Stone was not worth going back for. Hold it, you can't go any further. If you could pick somewhere to have a Pokemon region, where would you do? I would do Australia, no bias. Where would I pick as a Pokemon region? Honestly, it'd be cool if they, like, I mean, parts of the world that don't get, like, explored very often, right? So, like, Africa. Yeah, mostly, like, Africa or, like, Russia might be kind of cool. Places where games usually aren't set. Latin America and South America. Yeah, I don't know. An Antarctica-based region? All ice types. Oops, all ice types. Oh, right, it goes through Protect. I'm an idiot. I forgot that's like its gimmick. I should have just gone to Bike Wazowski. It's Aegislash. You can make mistakes and still win. Rutger's good. He survived. It doesn't affect Bike Wazowski. Fun fact, there is a single type of spider that lives in Antarctica by letting its blood get frozen in defrost, with it being built to revive itself. That is a fun fact. Hero Rutger is just a reference to FE1 Navarre, just like Garrick. Nobody outside of Team Chimera is permitted in Aria's hideout. Alright, so it's a bug type. I think we switch to Bike Wazowski. ZA's looking a little different. Sorry, Kratos, I only play good video games. It's Dragon Pulse? Look, we got Mega Evolution. This is ZA. This looks normal to me. Yeah, Bike Wazowski Mega Evolved. That's ZA, right? I haven't seen ZA. Okay, this is actually concerning. +2 on Quiver Dance. If you only play good games, why is this channel mostly Fire Emblem? Shit, I've been epically owned. What is this person doing? They're going for like the super omega one-shot strategies. Are they choiced into Quiver Dance or are they just greedy? 3 Quiver Dances followed by Protect. This is peak Dustox Gaming. 4 Quiver Dances! Do you know an attacking move or are you just trying to scare me? Gotta go to full power. I mean, look, Rutger has set up to +6. Like, that is a thing. Let's just Ironhead. At this rate, I probably could have used Swords Dance. Bro loves setting up. Druid Run went very well, slower than in the video. The Summoner isn't over yet because the stream crashed. Yeah, I saw you post about the stream crash. I mean, I think from having watched, I only watched the You in video, I didn't get to see the live stream. But from having watched the video, I think you're like absolutely correct that just Anima Magic is better for him. We got Obama number 2. Restream is pissing me off. I'm using Stream Elements. I don't use Restream anymore because they chain if you don't pay them. If you do the free version, they change the name of your stream on YouTube to plug them. Oh, we gotta give him a number 2. This is Obama 2. I think I might do that too. Stream Elements, it's had some problems in terms of like, one time it logged me out and then logged me into like a random email. Without that be easy to mistake you for an intruder. The email I had when I was like 12 years old. But for the most part, I've been very happy with that experience. Can you and summon cool phantoms? I know they're useless in a solo run, but they're still peak. I would argue they're also not very useful in a full-on run, but I'm a Null hater. I'm a filthy, dirty Null hater. Oh, you fished up all the Pokemon in the water! He ran into me. Arios Town has small ponds, but they are mainly maintained by residents. When we chase them out, the pond's flooded, and we haven't had time to build crossings. Go put your Chimera mask back on and help us fight this flood. Y'all are, like, really dumb. Calliope and her admins are in the gym, working hard on their new plans. Be sure not to interrupt. Do you have a Pokemon Center? Ariados is here. Ah, here's the center. I'm being held by Team Chimera, but you don't look like... Would you like me to heal your Pokemon? Just give me a moment. Phantoms are good in games with strong enemies, like ROM hacks. Yeah, it's a shame that, like, they would be super powerful. Like, in theory, they can be, but... in practice, what ends up happening is just... It's the age-old thing of, like, a Phantom... is a way to lure an enemy on enemy phase without any of your units dying. But a unit that doesn't die, like a strong unit, basically, unless you're running like super under-leveled units, I'm gonna name the spider Knoll. Actually, I'll name it Knoll's Butt. Just because I'm very bad at coming up with nicknames, and we're talking about Knoll. But, like, it's the whole thing of, like, unless you're using really weak units, they shouldn't be dying to getting hit by FE8 enemies. So then the only difference is, in FE8, the only difference is a Phantom results in the enemy surviving. Which is not what you want. You followed us all the way here? No matter, we're ready for a final showdown. You'll learn once and for all, Team Chimera is not to be trifled with. What did Knoll ever do to you other than die a lot, probably? I mean, like, Knoll didn't do anything to me. In theory, it's like, he's kind of cool or whatever. And when I was younger, I thought the Phantoms were, like, really neat. You know, you're summoning. It's a summoner. It's only in FE8. It's awesome. Okay, we know you're going for Swagger. So... you're water plus fighting. Let's go Bike Wazowski. The TMGC Phantoms are better. They're stronger and dodgier. A stronger unit summons them, and they're in a game with actually strong enemies. I mean, I don't think... So, here's the thing, right? Is like, the Phantoms being 1 HP and easy to kill is an upside, not a downside. You want the Phantoms to be low HP because it means you can reliably bait enemies with them. That's why, you know, games that try to buff Phantoms by, like, literally buffing the Phantoms, you know, like, we just finished Cerulean Crescent and the log is a lot stronger than the Phantoms. It doesn't actually help because now you can't use the log to reliably bait. Now, the log gets repositioned, and the log can actually, like, do some good damage or whatever, which is kind of cool. Shittail, please. Succeed. Yes! Okay, thank you, Pike Wazowski. Help, I'm brain dead and my legs are jello. Are you high, Ryan? Are you high? Noel decided to always be deployed in Chapter 15 of Erica Route, and that's what he did to me. Right, because you always do your solos on Erica Route. Kratos, after you finish the solo run series, are you going to do Ephraim Route solos to see, like, if it's different for different people? Alright, so 6-7 is protected. Golisopod. Let's try Rock Tomb. That should trigger an emergency exit at the very least. My last break was 6 hours ago. That didn't even get us an emergency exit? Damn, I forgot how fucking strong Golisopod is defensively. Okay, so 6-7 substitute broke. There's no pugs. For Ralligator. Alright, let's switch to a Pate. Golisopog. Let's Giga Drain. Damn, that didn't kill. Do you have, like, Ice Fang or something? Poison Fang! That's even worse! Okay, sorry, Apate. Should have been better. Should have done better. Alright, we can send out Pike Wazowski, we get Electric Surge again, and we can start Terrain Blasting. I feel like Noel died more in your solo runs than any other character because he always dies in every run. He's, it's because he's, like, because the other characters that are forced out are not, like, so weak that they die to everything. Is it Noel slander time? It's not slander if it's true. Slander only means lies. Noel being a bad unit is the truth. Oh shit, first impression. Fuck, Pike Wazowski, that's really bad. That's both of my special attackers. I guess there's Poop Girl. We can go Poop Girl. Moonblast you. Is saying that Golisopod is a good Pokemon slander then? So slander is when you say something that is both untrue and is, like, you know, undesirable for that to be the case. Saleh has died about as much, but I control the narrative because of editing. Never trust YouTubers. Never trust YouTubers. History is written by the editor, it would seem. I desire my boy to be viable. He's so epic. He's really fun to use in, like, Nuzlocke, because if you can take advantage of his ability, the free pivots you get are, like, really nice. My opinion on Noel is that he sucks, but so does, like, every other character in the Sacred Stones. I think that's half true. I think every character in the Sacred Stones, except for, like, Seth, Garrick, and Saleh, and Garcia are like training projects. But I also think like there's a difference between, you know, if you decide my training project that I'm investing in is like Vanessa or Franz or whatever, right? You'll get a payoff that like is actually beneficial. With Calliope watching, I'll destroy you and bring pride to Team Chimera. And Calliope's gonna have the trio, isn't she? Whereas, like, training Noel doesn't really get you anything. Garrick versus Grados Cinematic Universe is peak. I don't even know what that means, I'm sorry. Did you find Machop? I don't think Machop is in this game, Podygator, I'm sorry. I don't think there are Machops. I have not seen a single Machop, Machamp, or Machoke. There's only 400 of the 1,000 Pokemon. So, someone's gotta be missing. I'm genuinely starting to believe that my videos have done irreparable damage to Noel's image. That's good, because Noel has been overhyped for like a million years. Ever since Mecha did the Summoners video, Noel has been very overhyped. I feel like that did irreparable damage to the Fire Emblem community's perception of Noel. There's this thing that happens with, like, especially the GBA games, since they tend to be the most simplistic, where people will oversimplify, like, look at a unit and look at either some of their traits in a vacuum without examining, like, what game they're in, right? So you get this with the Christmas Cavaliers in 7, oftentimes getting hyped up because it's like, well, they're GBA Cavaliers, they must be good. And it's like, well, you don't have the deployment slots for that many units, and Hector Hard Mode experience cut is super big, so it depends on whether or not you're doing Lin mode, but if you're not doing Lin mode, they end up being pretty bad despite the fact that, or not bad, but just mid, right? Like, middle of the pack. Despite the fact that they have these advantageous traits. Or you get that with Noel, where it's like, in theory, Noel is one of only 2 units that can summon disposable phantoms. They open up a lot of strategies in terms of reliably baiting enemies. You know, AI manipulation is very, very strong until you realize that Sacred Stone enemies are weak enough that you can either have an enemy fight a phantom and nobody dies, or have an enemy fight hyper-trained Ford and Seth and Franz and Dusel, and none of them die either. They ain't my boy Lowen, that's for sure. Your rock grass. I think we go Amelia. Noel is actually an Est. He's just a really bad one. No. I think if you want to say that a unit's an Est, they have to have, like, a training payoff, right? Like, Nino, sort of the definitive Est, what people call Est, right? Is, like, she's got really high growths. Someone just being a bad unit doesn't make them an Est, you know? It's a thing that happens where people will be like, oh, you know, this unit is an Est. No, they're actually just bad, right? Just because most Ests are also bad. Salt Cure! Oh no! I didn't expect Salt Cure Cradilly. Noel summons would be godsend and harder FEs. For sure. You show up and we immediately start hating Noel. In fairness, this has always been a safe space for Noel haters. I have an entire video dedicated to Noel hate. Okay, for Arcanine, we go 6-7. There should be an archetype name for bad units that start bad but then become bad. Not everything needs to be an archetype. You can just say bad unit. This is an unsafe space for my space? The Knoll Appreciators. Olwen Army, were you here during the Thracia stream when Olwen died? Because we made it a double unsafe space for you. She died. Now my socks are wet and I lost? She got fucking nuked from orbit by a ballista. Ilios is peak, Your Honor. He really is. I'm realizing, like, I already thought Olwen wasn't very good, but I realized in, like, humoring her this run that she's even worse than I thought. You should use her short term if you, like, find a use for it, right? And if you can get the bolting on time by, like, investing in her, sure, go off. But, like, we did train her. She only has 2 maps to get the weapon rank, and she didn't get there on time. As expected, you can't just let things go, can you, Danny? Once I was the 8th muse of Ilios region, counted among the most highly respected trainers. But even with all that respect, I was so bored. I needed more power, more wealth, more everything. That's why I formed Team Chimera, and led the destruction of my own town. It's all or nothing now, Danny. Let's have one final showdown here and now. My Olwen would never do that. She doesn't see the battlefield because Lifis does everything Lifis gaming. I'm dead serious when I say I think Ralph is better than Olwen. Ralph is pretty awesome. Not gonna lie. Okay, you've got the super suite, so he's fake out you. Let's see what move you're using. Oh, interesting. Tinkaton. Alright, well, let's see what you brought Tinkaton in for. Fairy type move, probably? Oh, Mega Tinkaton, okay. I like that Mega Tinkaton gets, like, the jackhammer. Well, that doesn't help at all. Knowing that you were gonna go for Fake Out. I think we go... You're probably using a fairy move, because you're facing a fighting type. So I think we go Rutger. Wreck-It Ralph. Ralph is my generic white guy. That's so much fucking damage! Alright, King Shield you. Wait, why was Rutger... He was in sword form? I thought he started out in shield form. Actually, it's Wreck-It Ross. This should be neutral. Okay, shield form you. Let's Swords Dance. Everyone always gives Vantage to Olwen, but other good users for her. I mean, remove the word other, because I do not think Olwen is a good Vantage user. People give Vantage to Olwen because, in theory, it seems like she should be good with it. Because she has a brave attack, right? But in practice, her accuracy is not good. So she frequently misses one or both hits, and that ends up not killing people, right? I would say the good Vantage users, you could, if you want, give it to a Nosferatu unit, specifically Nana or Linoan. The thing is that Vantage just isn't a very good skill. In Thracia? Yeah, I don't know who else you would give it to. Like, I already don't love it on the units that start with it. Halvin can try to do Vantage Hammer or Halberd stuff, but you once again run into the accuracy issues, right? I guess you could give it to, like, an accurate sword user and give them the sleep edge so they can Vantage sleep people. Vantage is only really as good as the other tools a unit has. They need to be able to kill the enemy in one hit anyway. Or have some sort of benefit from going first. Which is why I said, like, maybe one of the NOS users. Because Vantage NOS means they can, like, heal themselves up if they would have died or whatever. Funny Bayo Blade, though. The Bayo Blade is hilarious, because Vantage Wrath, but then it cancels itself out. I don't know if it's good, but Vantage Wrath is funny. It's not good. It's in Thracia, it's explicitly not good, because Vantage cancels Wrath. The way that Wrath functions is Wrath only gives you a critical hit if you go second. So it's pretty explicitly not good. In other games, it can be. Vantage Wrath is like a core strategy in Fire Emblem Engage. Does that mean Wrath activates if the enemy has Vantage? It does. It does. If you attack an enemy with Vantage and they go first, you get Wrath. So that's the only way the Bayo Sword's Wrath can go off. Is if you attack a Vantage enemy. Oh god, a Pate has fallen off so hard. Super effective Draining Kiss, and it's doing this little. That also applies to the enemy. Yeah, that's why, like, fighting the Wrath Berserkers with a Vantage unit is so sad, because you just give them a Wrath crit. Battalion Wrath, Battalion Vantage is Dimitri's special. It is. Although it's worth noting that Vantage Wrath is also, like, relatively trivial to set up on other units. They just don't get the, Dimitri getting them both on Battalion is nice, because he can just sort of go into a fight with it at the start. The main problem with Vantage is the main way to one-shot enemies with the crits, which you get with either Wrath or follow-up critical coefficient. Exactly. That's why I think Vantage is just, like, a bad skill overall. Let's see if we can put Silvally to sleep. Dimitri uses that to not just kill, but also murder women. Okay, we'll go Amelia, and then start firing off Drain Punches. The fuck? What did Kaga get pissed off making it? No, it's not even actually fuck. People call it follow-up critical coefficient because it makes a funny anagram. Also, shit, Silvally woke up. But, it's either, like, Pursuit Critical Coefficient, PUCC, or FCC for Follow-Up Critical Coefficient, Pursuit Crit. There's different names for it, right? Setting up. We should still kill. Unless you kill with Thunderclap. Nope, we kill. Is Kaga Discourse overblown? I hear FE heads say that the not Kaga games are bad by default. I mean, that's just classic, like, weird gamer old school elitism. You get this in basically any gaming community. I mean, heck, I recently made the video on the Final Fantasy Tactics remake, and I got a comment from someone who's like, the remake is a slap in the face because they added quality of life features, and so it's different. People need to struggle with the old game and the old menu. So, like, there's people who just place pride in either something being old, or there's the hipster effect where it's like, I've played this and not that many people played this, which is why Thracia gets so popular, because it was the last one to get translated. It doesn't have a remake, unlike 1 and 3. Although you also get people like, if you played the DS remakes, but you haven't played Fire Emblem 1 and Fire Emblem 3, you're a fake fan. Which, like, I do think the DS remakes have significant enough differences that if you're a really big fan of the franchise, it's worth considering checking out the older games, 1 and 3, because they're like, you know, they are mechanically different. No reclassing, there's dismounting in 3, the way trading works in 1 is super unique. It's not going to be for everyone. In fact, most people aren't going to like it, because in addition to being different, they are old and jank and slow. But I personally think there's some really cool stuff in them that didn't make it into the remakes, in part because it's old and jank and slow, right? Like, the trading system in 1 fundamentally changes how that game works, but also, most people are gonna hate it. Do not play 1. I love 1. I love 1. I'll say this, if you're gonna play 1, play it with, like, the ability to speed up and potentially make save states or use a rewind function, because there's some jankiness. Majora's Mask remake actually sucked in comparison to the OOT remake. I mean, I would say just having the extra QOL of being able to, you know, tap the masks on the touchscreen instead of having to equip them on equipment slots is a pretty huge upgrade, even if there's some changes that I don't like when it comes to Majora's Mask remake. Me trying to crit with Lys's when he's a follow-up crit of 0 follow-up crit. Yeah. Do you think MM3D sucks? You can try Leo's Restoration Project if you emulate or modify, but it's not a substitute for N60. What does that mean? I don't know what any of that means. I'm sorry. Playing through the older FE games in order, and 1 took twice as long as 3. Yeah, I mean, as I keep saying, it's old and jank, and, like, that's not for everyone, and that's also, like, your tolerance for it is going to depend on how much you enjoy the other aspects of the game. I'm currently playing through Final Fantasy 1, because I'm playing the Final Fantasy games in order, and for Final Fantasy 1, I'm playing all 3 major versions, because they're all very different from each other. I'm playing Final Fantasy 1 on the NES, I'm playing the, it's like Crystal of Souls or something on the Game Boy, and I'm playing Pixel Remaster. And they're all very different from each other, and I can tell you this, like, as much as I have tolerance for FE1's old and jankness, I do not have tolerance for Final Fantasy 1's old and jankness. And I think it's just because I have more appreciation for Arcanea than I do for the Final Fantasy land, right? So I think that comes down to it as part of it as well. 99% defense Bantu, my beloved. I think the glitches in 1 are also awesome. I love the glitches. Leo's Restoration Project is the name of it. I just don't know what it is, though. I'm sorry. No, how could this happen? Danny got $10,000. I hope you'll enjoy Final Fantasy 2. It's rather mixed. I've already gotten, like, 5 comments telling me to skip 2. So, like, I know what the video title's gonna be. Like, the most controversial Final Fantasy game. I played the most controversial Final Fantasy game. What? My legendary beasts, obey me. Raikou snatched the myth badge from Calliope and placed it at your feet. Yo, Raikou's an absolute fucking homie. Got me the badge and everything. Abandoned by our own Pokemon. Without the legendary Pokemon behind us, we're lost. I've heard the gym leaders from across the region are coming to reclaim Arios time as well. I fear that the Team Chimera is finished. This can't have been for nothing. I refuse to believe my life's work, the plans I've considered for decades, and my chances for power have been stopped. Admins, make your Arcanine and Mamoswine use Dig and get out of here! Calliope and the Chimera admins have completely vanished. In the rubble, a TM is sticking out. That's how we get our TM. Ancient mechanism. There's a huge commotion outside. Danny, I knew you could do it. We saw Entei, Raikou, and Suicune dash out of the gym. It's like they've escaped Team Chimera's control. Some Chimera grunts escaped in the chaos, and from the looks of it, Calliope did too, but still, this was a resounding victory. While you battled in the gym, I brought some gym leaders to help defeat the other Team Chimera members. Polyama of Jusumil Town, Utrepi from Marini Islands, Teresipi from the Sophos Islands, and Raideen from Polity City all joined us to take down Team Chimera for good. Shouty, Danny, do you remember me from Jusumil Town? I was the first gym leader you challenged. Now that Team Chimera is being dismantled, we thought it was time to reintroduce the Elite Four, now composed of us gym leaders. We'll be assembling at the ruins of Hayaya, the site of an ancient battle, just northeast of Perpetual City. If you hope to become champion, come meet us there. Hear that? We might become champions, Danny. All we have to do is go to the ruins of Hayaya and beat some gym leaders we've already beaten before. We've so got this. I'm gonna help the muses take care of these Chimera grunts. You should head to Penchapal City and follow the Pollen Road towards the ruins of Hayaya. I'm sure I'll catch up with you there. Oh, hi, Houndoom. The champion is Goku. Final Fantasy II has a lot of fun nonsense that stops me from disliking it. I think the big thing is, like, people don't like the way that stat raising works, right? Only thing I can say for Final Fantasy II, it's a lot like the other two games, as in it's very experimental. Yeah, for sure, for sure. It does like the Oblivion thing, right? Where raising your stats is weird. Hey, it's me, Goku! I heard your Pokemon are pretty strong. Let's battle! I found Goku. Does that mean I won the game? Ah, shit, I lost the game. Get fucked, losers. We don't have a PC available. Political correctness has been defeated. Crazy how we used to think 6-7 was a bad Pokemon. Yeah, we used to think it was a bad meme too, but now we've all been enlightened. We know it's the greatest meme of all time. Finally, a trainer who isn't Team Chimera. Are you here to take them down? I've been hiding here, working on perfecting a move to protect myself. You've inspired me to finish this. Oh, is that the Protect TM? Never mind, that was Fire Blast. Well, old man, you're a fucking loser. We're almost out. If only I had brought Dick Licker with me, we could have just flown home. Oh no, it's a maze! I'm lost. Hey chat. You know the cheat codes, right? Would anyone be willing to look up the cheat code to unlock all outfits? You can cut the grass. Yeah, but that takes longer than just running away. Everyone likes pointing out that you can cut the grass, but that is such a slow method to navigate. There's no cheat code. Well, I know that's not true because I looked up the cheat codes earlier. I just don't remember it. Dress up. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Depression-cito. Add a space bar. Damn. That's the last time I ever trust chat. Is there an explanation point too? Okay, good. Sorry. You ruined it for everyone, kid. Oh, Nimona! You can be Nimona? That's pretty awesome. Bow, 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 bow. Or, what is this guy? He's the loser with the dog, right? Yeah, these are all just the main characters. I miss Johto and I love Paldea. Give you the starters. Yeah. Nimona and Arvis from the FE4 remake. They made Arvis woke. Have the catch and rare candy codes been helpful? They have! Yes, thank you. I enjoyed doing the standard catching. Paulin Road? That's cool. I enjoyed the standard catching while we were doing the, conservation side quests. But now I'm glad to just be able to catch things if we need to. Portable PC gives you a portable PC. Yeah, I don't really want that. I don't really want that. I feel like, you know, sticking with the team you got, that's part of the challenge, right? Oh, I should probably get rid of a Pate, though. A Pate's kind of duty. Goku summons Goku to battle. Now I know that's not true. Slagoo. Good morning, you scrompting skullgirls. Dun, what the fuck? Dun, what the fuck is wrong with you? So, you want to hear something funny, chat? So, I, pretty frequently go to the movie theaters. And I would never sneak, food into the movie theater because that's against the rules or whatever, and they would probably kick me out. So I would never admit to doing that on camera. I definitely don't put it in my purse. I definitely don't, go get Panera and, bring a full Panera meal in to the theater. I definitely don't do that. But if I were to do that, I would at least respect the staff enough to be sneaky about it. Unlike the person in line in front of me who just brought 3 grocery bags of food into the movie theater with him, completely uncovered. Just all the food. And they did not give a single solitary shit. And I think that's really fucking funny. I totally do not sneak packs of sacks into a movie theater because they're overpriced. To be clear, it's not illegal, in case anyone's wondering. It's not illegal. The worst that can happen is they ban you from the movie theater. But it's morally wrong. You should support capitalism. Or whatever. Alright, I think what we do is we ditch a Pate. We switch Poop Girl for Jolene. Do we bring Dommy Mommy off the bench, actually? She's so slow, though. I think we keep Dick Licker. Who's our 6th team member? Well, what we can do is... Yeah, I like this squad. Depression, Fatty, Rutger, Jolene, Crook 6-7, and Amelia. No, it's still not great. We have the rare candies. We can bring someone else up if we want. Oh! So we have the evolution items for Charcadet. What's the ghost one? Which one gives the ghost? Is it armor? We have auspicious armor, and we have malicious armor. It's malicious armor, right? For Lady Knight? Purple gives the ghost. Malicious, yeah, okay. It's auspicious? Don't jump scare me like that, Dunn, coming in here talking about the scrotums and skulls. What are you doing? And then lying to me about Lady Knight? Why are you trying to sabotage Lady Knight? That's evil. That's evil. I'm a lying thought? Did you find the move relearner? Yeah, the move relearner is in like the 3rd town. We've had it for a while. We just deleted Leer and it's like, are you sure you don't want to learn Leer? And Astonish? What? It's asking to learn the moves we just deleted. What's going on? All right, we gotta get Lady Knight up to pace. By the way, what is playing ZA like? I haven't heard much other than it's boring. I mean, I haven't played it, so I can't in good conscience give you, like, a definitive explanation, but from everything I've seen, it doesn't look enjoyable to me personally. And by saying that, I've pissed off the Nintendo fans, because if you don't like the same games as them, you're actually calling them a bad person. Which, like... It's why I say, and you know, I say this as a Nintendo YouTuber, like, Nintendo fans are the Disney fans of video games. You suppress the protests. Trust? Yeah, it's also like, people present ZA as if it's like, super woke, progressive. The only reason you could possibly hate it is if you're a conservative or whatever. I don't think we want Flame Charge. It's fun if you like Pokemon and you don't mind the business decisions. I mean, like, what's fun is gonna be different for different people. But it does not look fun. Like, even if, obviously, I'm predisposed to dislike, that particular combat style, because it's very similar to Xenoblade. I've called them auto-battlers, because you do, like, an auto-attack, but I guess it's really supposed to be called, like, a real-time attacker or something. I don't fucking know. But basically, I don't like that type of, like, combat anyway, so I already know that I wouldn't like it even if it were well made. However, it doesn't seem well made in that, like, since you're running around controlling your trainer instead of directly controlling the Pokemon, right? You have very limited positional control and can often just end up with, like, if you dodge out of the way of an attack, it moves your Pokemon and they usually get hit by the attack. Such that, like, actually just tanking attacks rather than trying to engage with the mechanics and dodge them ends up being a better strategy half the time, which is really sad, right? Also, apparently the speed stat just does not matter, because all it does is refresh your moves faster, but if you have 4 attacking moves, you kind of just win. Like, you kind of don't need them all to refresh, because you just cycle them, right? Speed is dead. Speed is dead and setup is dead. And like, you know, on the one hand, those were, you know, the strongest aspects of Mons before. So it can definitely feel like... It can definitely feel like, okay, well, you know, if they're... you know, nerfing, it's trying to, like, balance or whatever, but it just turns it into a much more simplistic game of, like, well, I picked the strong guy who have a strong Mega Evolution, and I use the strong move. Their attempt to buff status moves failed. How do they try to buff status moves? The baseline battle system is almost perfect. I think mainline games just need better basic and real enemy teams. I think as much as, you know, I've sunk so many hours on the toilet into Pokemon Showdown. So, like, I know that that it can be, like, super fucking awesome and enjoyable when you're playing against another human who's, like, good at the game or equal to your skill level, whether you're good or not. Like, I'm not good, right? But, like, if someone who's... I'm not good, but I'm better than the AI, right? So, like, playing against someone who's on my skill level, and also has, like, a well-constructed team and everything, that's super fun. However, it's also very hard to argue against the idea that the mainline Pokemon combat system is very simplistic, especially when compared to other RPGs. And, like, you know, in single-player games that shines, where it becomes, you know, like, status moves and special moves and stuff. Like, oftentimes you just pick the one with the biggest number. But I would say, like, even in multiplayer, like, there's, you know, thinking and whatnot and all that stuff. Oh shit, Jawlock goes through Phantom Force. That's nice. There's a reason that, like, sometimes a game is just won by somebody maneuvering into position and getting Swords Dance off, right? Like... Was it you who said Ember is a sword? It doesn't sound like the sort of thing I would say unless I was specifically talking about the Fates weapon triangle. Because in Fates, the weapon triangle is Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle. And Razor Leaf is Axes, Swords is Ember, and Blue Weapons Lances is Water Gun. But that doesn't sound like something I said. It could be something I just forgot, but I don't think so. Pokemon is fundamentally an easy game if it's not being artificially restricted. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like, I'm having fun. But the lack of complexity and the lack of depth is just kind of inherent to what Pokemon's system is. In single player, the primary skill it's testing is your ability to remember the elemental type chart. And And oftentimes that's also the case in multiplayer. With the caveat that also it's testing your ability to, like, read your opponent or, like, fake out your opponent. They can go farther than the post games do to make with what the system has available. I mean, they could. But I don't think they should. Because, yeah, people are gonna hate me for this take, but look at Emerald Battle Frontier. As an example, why making Pokemon challenging is not a recipe for making Pokemon fun. How many YouTube videos have the title or thumbnail, "The Frontier AI cheats"? Because you do run into a situation, and you get this with the hard ROM hacks too, right? Where, like, everyone big ups Emerald Kaizo, and I'm sure from, like, a hacking perspective and a you know, pure mechanical inserting everything in perspective, it's super impressive. However, I do not find the idea of bright powder explosion Pokemon all over Magma Hideout to be a test of skill or fun design. I say this with no judgment. If you want to drive nails into your testicles, that's fine. And I wish you luck doing so. I think you should be allowed to do what you want. However, if you're trying to describe something as difficult, there should be an element of skill to it. And there are other parts of Emerald Kaizo, right? Like, there are areas where skill is tested, obviously. But there are a lot of areas where it's just fucking roll of the dice, baby. And the same is true of the other Kaizo games. And, like, they advertise what they are on the tin, right? Like, they're Kaizo games. Blue Kaizo, Red Kaizo, or Blue Kaizo and Crystal Kaizo, I think is what they are. Blue Kaizo has, like, cycling road, downhill, invisible wall maze that you have to navigate your way through. No! Inner focus! It's extreme. I think there's a middle ground between Kaizo and Frontier and beating the game by pressing the A button. I mean, I would argue that that middle ground is, and for Fire Lash, let's send out Lady Knight. I would argue that that middle ground is Pokemon Black and White, Black and White 2 Challenge Mode. Oh, you just switched in the wrong Pokemon, loser. Whoever built the cycling road in that Kaizo must love Fuchsia City's gym. I mean, I think it's more just they were... The point of a Kaizo game, you know, in addition to... There are difficult parts, but there's also... Part of it is just trolling each other, right? Like, Kaizo blocks, I think are just an inherently unfun mechanic. But they're a staple of Kaizos because that's part of the intent, right? And like, that's not even me saying like, oh, it's bad, right? It's just not for me. I think that Kaizo, people often use Kaizo as a synonym for difficult, when it's really something else entirely. Be cool if that was a feature they did more than once. I mean, I think this sort of level of difficulty, right? Lazarus, that Pokemon Z game I played a little bit ago that I guess it turns out was made by a not so great guy. Like that sort of stuff, right? I think this is sort of the perfect level of difficulty for me. You know, different strokes for different folks. It's still easy because unfortunately, you know, the Aqua Step! The limitations of being a Pokemon game, right? Isn't challenge mode easier? The stats don't change, but you get more EXP. Not the challenge mode is easier, propaganda! Depression Cedo, this is not a personal attack on you. However, you have triggered my defense mechanism for my pet peeve for the most brain-dead argument that people make from misunderstanding Flygon HG's discovery about the challenge mode glitch. So it's going to come off as an attack against you when I rant. I'm not immune from propaganda. It's not even propaganda, it's just people not understanding it and then spreading the misunderstanding. Basically, what happens is challenge mode makes 3 changes to the game, right? These changes only impact boss trainers, specifically gym leaders and Elite Four. I believe the evil team is never impacted. The evil team itself is already pretty hard, though. What happens is trainers are given, boss trainers are given an extra Pokemon each, 1 extra Pokemon each. So the Elite Four gets 5 Pokemon instead of 4. Gym leaders will get 4 instead of 3, or 5 instead of 4, depending. And the first gym leader gets 3 instead of 2, right? So they're all given an extra Pokemon. Their Pokemon are given better movesets. They're given tailored movesets instead of getting just their level up movesets, right? Their Pokemon are given specific items, whereas most of the time, even enemy bosses don't have items except for their ace has a citrus berry. And their Pokemon's levels are increased. However, due to a glitch, we assume it's a glitch. I have to assume it's not intentional. Rather than the Pokemon stats being actually calculated by the game based on what they should be, for boss trainers who have like specific set Pokemon, their stats are manually programmed. And as a result of this, despite the display level being higher, the stats are identical. So, you know, Clay has a level 52 Excadrill in normal mode, but a level 57 in challenge. Like, that's not accurate, but we're just using these numbers for example. The level 57 Excadrill would still have the stats of a level 52 one. Now, this does, as you said, mean that you get more experience in a game where you can infinitely grind and you will almost always be over-leveled compared to your foes anyway. More experience is not a big deal. It is not enough to counteract the other increased forms of difficulties that have been added. Now, the thing that Flygon brought up, and this is accurate, I will say this is accurate, is that you could argue that challenge mode, if you're going off of the challenge mode level caps, is more difficult than non-challenge mode for a Hardcore Nuzlocke specifically, because Hardcore Nuzlocke uses level caps dependent on the highest level Pokemon of an enemy boss trainer. And in many instances, it simply happens to line up that there are powerful evolutions you get access to in challenge mode, but not in normal mode. However, that is a custom challenge run set of rules. That is not something default put in the game, right? Additionally, if you are genuinely trying to get the hardest experience you can out of a Black and White 2 Hardcore Nuzlocke, what you do is you play challenge mode, but you use the normal mode level caps, because those are the quote-unquote real level caps, right? Because challenge mode adding actual movesets, actual items, and additional Pokemon is a much bigger deal than the 3 levels of experience that you get. Because it's like a 2 or 3 level difference too. It's why, like, in random battles, you can fight against, like, a level 70 Pokemon, right? Like, the level difference is not actually a super huge deal. You get Torch Song! That's absurd. But the level difference is not actually a super huge deal. For the most part. But if you're playing with level caps and a hardcore Nuzlocke, Clay... I think Clay is the one where his level caps in challenge mode allow for some specific evolutions that can be really broken. I think he allows for an Excadrill evolution that he wouldn't otherwise. There's a few others. So it can be like a huge game changer in that regard, because evolution is huge. 2 levels really isn't. Right? Also potentially worth noting, although this is not the biggest deal, the damage formula is not just based on your stats in Pokemon. The damage formula also takes your level into account. So technically speaking, even though they have the same stats, some of those Pokemon are like, I don't know why I did that right there. That was stupid. I should have gone fatty. So technically speaking, you could try to argue, oh, you dickhead. In a vanilla run, you can beat Red and Heart Gold, Soul Silver without grinding. If you use potions, you can overcome the level gap. Even without using potions, you know, one of my favorite sort of like Pokemon challenge runs to do is 0% growths or 0 EXP, where you just have to go off of the level that you received the Pokemon at, whether that's catching them in the wild or getting them as a gift or whatever, right? And like, you do feel the level disadvantage. Like, it is notable. But it's like a 10 to 15 level disadvantage oftentimes. And it forces you to make, like, more creative strategies or whatever. But, like, the difference between, you know, Clay getting Bulldoze versus Earthquake or whatever is so much more of a glow up than just his Pokemon's 3 levels higher. I can't battle on an empty stomach. Did I get ya? I think this thing can potentially have an anti-flinch ability, so we just U-turn. I played one of those challenge hacks once and it felt unfair. What challenge hack? Hypno, you want to consume Nintendo games for $80. Oh, shit. Outplayed. Okay, well, we're gonna have to sacrifice Rutger for some chip damage. Emerald Imperium. Never heard of it. It might be a skill issue, but I'm pretty okay at competitive singles. Yeah, I've just never heard of it, sorry. I dislike a Pokemon hack that advertises itself as having competitive level difficulty. I think the challenges you're looking for in single player, like designing a challenge for single player, is gonna be different from, like, a competitive team, in part because AI doesn't know how to use the competitive stuff, right? There's a nurse. Brief! That's where a Pate went when we retired her. I found some rare stones in my farm, and they made my Pokemon extremely strong. Oh, he's gonna have all stone Evos. Never mind. He's got all, oh, it's Megas! He's got a Mega Wordeer. Oh, no Mega Wordeer. Because it gets a Mega form. It has Mega Santa form. Yo, the 6-7 slam. The 6-7 wham bam slam dam. 6-7! Can I get 6-7 in chat? You're all welcome here, Zoomers. I guess it's Gen Alpha, not Zoomers, right? It's a Gen Alpha thing, actually. You're all welcome here, Gen Alpha. Pangoro looking fine, by the way. Very angry. It's got a Mega?! Oh, that's awesome. There we go. Okay. I battled with the best soil under me. It has the legendary blade, the leaf blade. Bro, what's your deal? It's the ocean. My parents told me not to swim here because of rough waters, but I'm a skilled swimmer. You are going to die. The Finizons are gonna beat the shit out of you, kid. The only competitive team I ever used was Balance. It made the game less fun than just hyper offense sweeping. That just means competitive isn't for me. Yeah, I mean, not everyone's gonna have fun doing the same stuff, right? I think that's perfectly fine. Finizen is so cute in this. Yeah, it does look very cute. It does look very cute, I agree. Oh, no bounce! Okay, we go Butker. Paralysis! Oh, this is a pain in the ass. What format do you usually play on Showdown? For the most part, Gen 1 OU. Although, also random double battles Gen 9 is super fun. Holy shit, Rutger! Get ahead of the game, bitch! Today is where we find out Danny was a Gen 8 random scout. I didn't even play when Gen 8 was live. I only recently got back into Pokemon. Alright, Fatty, you're up. Rip Caracosta. I only play Nat decks. Nat decks to me looks like anti-fun. I promise I'm not intending to just pick on you this stream, but Nat decks to me has the vibes of like someone who's still not over Dexit and then gets mad at Game Freak when the things introduced in Gen 8 and 9 are broken in combination with the things that were cut from those games. I've seen one too many angry Reddit rants complaining about how Terra Ninja is terrible game design, and I'm just like, it wasn't in the game though. Why do you think they removed Ninja from Gen 8, right? What do you think they were thinking, maybe? That Terra Ninja would completely negate its gimmick. Oh, you screen peeker! What is NatDex in Showdown? NatDex is National Dex. It is a format wherein, It is a format wherein everything from all generations, including all generational gimmicks, are legal. Oh, Jolene has... Okay, well that was my fault. So you get a Mega, you get a Dynamax / Gigantamax, and you get a, Terastallization. You get to do one of each, and you get a Z move. So, like, you get to do all of those things. And then you get to use all of the Pokemon, right? And, like, I don't know. I think Pokemon fans are such babies about Dexit. I get that, like, obviously it is partially Game Freak's fault for training a generation training multiple generations to believe that they will just always be able to keep their favorite Pokemon with them, right? But the amount of, well, I mean, outrage, fitting move, the amount of outrage over the realization that, like, actually, we're not going to add over 1,000 different Pokemon to this game that's fucking barely running as it is. People who still point to that as, like, the moment Pokemon died. And this is not me defending modern Pokemon. The modern Pokemon has so many issues, right? And I think you can also critique Dexit from the standpoint of, rather than using Dexit as an excuse to, like, save resources and put harder work into what they actually had in, instead, Dexit, they cut the Pokemon and they didn't add anything in exchange, right? Like, that is sort of the argument that I agree with and understand. Where it's like, they said they would be spending resources saved via Dexit in order to make the models better, right? And then they took the models from X and Y and just fucking upscaled them instead of actually making new stuff from scratch, right? Like, that is a legitimate complaint. However, I don't get to have the elemental monkeys in every game is not a legitimate complaint. You know, not every class is available in every Fire Emblem. Because, like, Fire Emblem units, I think, is the most immediate comparison, but also just, there's never been a repeat unit, right? But, like, not every class is available in every Fire Emblem. There are some Fire Emblems that do not have heroes. There are some Fire Emblems that do not have Bow Knights. There's even some Fire Emblems that don't have otherwise mainstays, like, you know, Soldier and Pegasus and whatnot, right? That doesn't, and like, if your favorite class is Soldier, right? If you love playable soldiers, then it's also understandable for you to be like, you know, I don't really like Thracia because there's no playable soldiers, and it makes me sad. So I'd rather play Path of Radiance, where I can use Nephany, right? That's a valid take. That's super reasonable. And that's cool, right? However, if you say Thracia's bad design because it didn't add any playable soldiers, well then I turn my brain off and stop listening to you. And that's how I feel about, like, the Pokemon Dexit, right? Like, if you're like, my favorite Pokemon is Mimikyu, and it makes me sad that in Gen 17 there's no Mimikyu, so I think I'm gonna skip this one. That's fine, that's valid. If you say, you know, well, Gen 17 only has, you know, 500 Pokemon, and they didn't use those save resources to improve it, it still looks like crap, that's also valid. If you say Gen 17 doesn't have Mimikyu and therefore is objectively bad and you're not joking, then I'm not taking you seriously. Me when I hate the White Wings / Tiki. There's like very few games you can play without the White Wings and Tiki. Is Dexit sad? Yes. Was it inevitable? Yes. Yeah, like I think they probably could have eventually gotten to... I think they could have gotten... I think it would have happened eventually anyway. I don't think it needed to happen in Gen 7. But I also think Gen 7 being a transition from the portable games to console games, right? First time mainline Pokemon has been a console series, was sort of the perfect time to make a major change like that. However, Gen 7 also was not very good. Like, I'm a reluctant defender because I think, in part because of Dexit, people over-exaggerate the flaws with that exceedingly, with those exceedingly mid games, right? Like, they're mid, and I don't mean mid as in 0 out of 10. I mean, like, 5 or 6 out of 10, right? Like, and not the IGN 5 or 6 out of 10. Like, actually, just the midpoint, right? They're fine. They are an PokemonGame.exe. But also, being just an PokemonGame.exe is, like, not great. And if you're trying to, like, justify, you know, we cut all these Pokemon you love. It's Gen 8. Oh, right, it's 8. I mixed up. It's Sword and Shield is what I'm talking about, though. They're playable, but nothing stands out. Yeah. I like the designs of new Pokemon, but I like the designs of new Pokemon in every generation. And, like, I like that one Mushroom Path. I think that's cool. I think that them being themed around sports in, like, London, in the UK, like, makes sense. Turning the gym challenge into, like, a sports event makes sense. But, like, at the end of the day, they're just an Pokemon game, right? They're just another one. Sword and Shield does not justify Dexit. I don't think it needed to justify Dexit. But I think it should have. I think people would be less upset if it did. I think Dexit justifies itself. Because it was inevitable. Because eventually it was going to happen, right? I think if they didn't run like shit, Scarlet and Violet would justify Dexit. And this brings us back to Terra Shedinja, right? Like, that's something that couldn't have happened. Terastallization would not have been added to the game if Shedinja existed. And I think that ultimately is sort of what, sort of like Dexit enables, is if you are weighed down... If your game design is weighed down by being forced to always include every single Pokemon you've ever made, it restricts your design capabilities. Imagine if every Fire Emblem game had to include every unit that has ever, existed in Fire Emblem. And now suddenly every single mage in every single Fire Emblem game has to compete with Pent. And there's no way they're standing up to that, right? Oh, thank God he missed. That could have been bad. And that's sort of what happened with, especially once Megas got invented. But that's sort of what happened with Pokemon, where it's like, well, why would I ever use this when, like, some stupidly broken Pokemon was created? Or, and this sort of brings us into, like, the Magic the Gathering territory, I love Legacy, the format Legacy, but part of what makes Legacy and other Eternal formats and other card games so great is you get to use the stupidest broken combinations, because when designing cards, they can't account for every single card that has ever been created. And so you end up with these, like, stupid combinations where it's like, oh, it turns out this card they made is perfectly fine. It's supposed to be just like it costs 2 mana, it's a low-powered effect, but it just so happens that when combined with a card from 30 years ago that nobody has ever heard of, it actually makes you win the game. I mean, fuck, like, I can give a concrete example, right? Recently, Avatar did a collab with, Avatar, The Last Airbender. And there's Avatar Aang is a human who, he's got, like, some powerful abilities, but he gets a superpowered form, a really broken superpowered form, if you can manage to firebend, airbend, earthbend, and, waterbend all on the same turn. I think flavorfully that's really cool, and it's an interesting design space, because he transforms into the Avatar state if he can do all 4 forms of bending. So, like, it makes sense from a lore perspective, and it's just a cool design. Unfortunately, about a decade and a half ago, Magic the Gathering had a gothic horror-inspired set called Innistrad, and one of the things that happened there was there are werewolves, who are humans that transform into wolves. And so there's a card, Moon Mist, that transforms all humans for 2 mana. And it was created to synergize with these werewolves, because they're not strong enough that it's, like, such a big deal to transform all of them. But suddenly it just becomes like, well, you know, I could engage in this sort of side quest the game gives me, where I need to do all the forms of bending to unlock the Avatar state. Or I could just say, Aang, you're a werewolf now. And so to me, that's kind of like what Dexit prevents is if they wanted to make a Pokemon that's like, I mean, like Shedinja, right? Where if they wanted to make the Terra mechanic and it doesn't work with Shedinja, well, they can just be like, we'll leave Shedinja out of this. He doesn't need to be invited to the party. It also means that, like, in the single-player games, the Pokemon that they want to shine sort of shine. Like, the regional variants in Alola, and sort of the general theme of Gen 7 being about, like, the introduction of new species to an environment, causing, like, all these issues and environmental collapse, that theme gets kind of undercut. If the best way for you to help fight against economic collapse is to import Mewtwo from another region, right? Like, you're not actually helping. It excluded Nincada and Ninjask by extension. Yeah, but, like, at risk of pissing off the Baton Pass fans, I don't think that's a huge loss. Maybe Ignatz should be an Engage in Fortune's Weave. Big Nats Gaming! I love using Ignatz in Warriors. We need to get back to Warriors sometime. My wife has been hogging the Switch too so she can play Kirby Air Ride. But I love how Ignatz, his abilities, not even just his abilities, like his regular attacks, all splatter paint all over the place. It's awesome. Let's get Owain in another Pfeffy for his 3rd outing. Owain is gonna become the mini Anna archetype. Wife moment. Immediately we talk about Ignatz and we start having the trans Ignatz chat, don't we? I genuinely don't know where Oh, she's gonna Mega Evolve for Victory Bell. Maybe someone can enlighten me since we've got Transignauts fans in chat. Where did that come from? Like, what, is there like a support or something? I know the Hubert Trans one is the Pegasus Knight note that you get in the helper thing. Does Ignatz have like a support where he talks about that, or do people just like it? Like, is it one of those, I like him, I'm just gonna headcanon trans? Yeah, you can fast flip turn, but that means I get a slow U-turn, bitch. The Ignatz and Marianne Warriors support. I'm using both of them. Maybe I should get their support so we can get it on stream. No, the burn! That's actually so bad. My Moxie sweep has been countered. Okay, we are at least at +2 speed, and functionally it's -1 attack because of the burn, right? But like, it's not terrible. Oh, maybe I should get Wavecrest instead of Acrobatics. Since I gave her an Assault Vest. Like a fucking idiot. Just outboost the burn. We might be able to, because we have Auroras now, and that's 4x effective close combat. Like, that's a Moxie. Okay, we're tied. It's tied now. +2 speed, basically tied. If only she got Water Veil. No! Oh, fuck. We close combated, too. Zen Headbutt! No! Oh, Jolene is dead. Jolene is so dead. Okay, we King Shield, because I think Rampardos is definitely making combat. Or contact. Yeah, hit smash. Okay. We Swords Dance. We're now at +4. We can Iron Head Rampardos. Aurora's got switched into a fighting type. Wait, what? What? Oh, it got, okay, I thought you meant it was like the ROM hack type change moment. I was gonna lose my mind. We're at +6, so hopefully this kills. Aurora's learning how to box would be funny, though. It would, it would. I love how this physical Pokemon is trying to learn a special attack. What a loser. Are you a Hydropump truther or a Surf enjoyer? I mean, Surf is just better. No, the baby doll eyes. There we go. Oh, it's got corrosion, so it'll do super effective against Rutger. Alright, we King Shield to start. Stuffle and Beware are so cute. I love that in Universe they sell the plushies of them. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So Corrosion got buffed in this, so that it deals super effective damage to steel types. Or it could go for knockoff. Alright, it's going for knockoff, so we go Amelia. Lady Knight. Missed a Stun Spore. Bitter Blade. There we go. Danny, you're one of a kind. That was an amazing battle. I've never seen a Pokemon move like that. You'll crush the Elite Four and become the first champion of the new league. Oh, but before that, you need a little extra help. So take this. Is that Waterfall? Ready to face the Elite Four? Sounds like a yes to me. I'm headed up. See you around. So she's got Mega Victory Bell as her ace. Oh! We're finally here, healing up my Pokemon and making sure they're ready for battle. Once you enter the Elite Four through the central door, you can't exit until the end. Alright, we have to build a team, chat. I think Fatty is not making the cut. I think the Mega we're gonna bring, I think we're bringing Bike Wazowski. I think we bring these 5 plus Bike Wazowski. Heading out thanks to the stream. Thanks for hanging out. I think this is the squad. Unfortunately, I'm out of citrus berries. We can fly there. We should have some that we can harvest around here. The Rowlet box sprite is so cute. Yeah. Why are we cosplaying as Phalanx? Yeah, I guess I could change outfits. Chat, should we be Nemona? What new Megastones have we unlocked? Tinkatite, Cyclizite S. Let's buy Cyclizite S so that if we need to, we can change it. Chat, where are the berries down here? Because we did plant berries somewhere around these woods. How long does it take for the citrus berries to grow? A watched berry never blooms, yeah. There we go. Spent all of our money. Alright, do we just use speed up to pass time, I think? Now it's nighttime. I'm almost at chapter 18. Should I recruit Xavier just for the sake of it, or should I execute him for being annoying? On our Thracia playthrough, whenever I get back to it, we are going to recruit him because I want to show it off, but I would never recommend it to anyone who, like, yeah, maybe try it once. But also, you're not missing much if you skip, right? I thought there were berries over here. Oh, Mimikyu! I'll think about it, but if I get frustrated, I'm feeding him to the wolves. Oh my god, your name is Owen Almy. I'm sorry, I thought your username was Olwyn Army. So I assumed that I completely misread your username up until literally right now. So I assumed you were like a super Olwyn fan. That wasn't me doing a bit, that was literally just... I misread it because I'm dumb. Alright, Mr. Berry, are you gonna be grown yet, or are you a problem child? Citrus berries. I need citrus berries. Chat, if I can just get some citrus berries for Amelia. I used speed up and everything, and it didn't help. Me checking on my trainee unit to see if they've paid off, or I have to go gamble for my rent. Amelia really is being the trainee unit, isn't she? We named her correctly. Do you have... Can I buy... It's just the mints! We should at the very least try to get everyone in a good nature, right? Special attack plus minus special defense. Dunzos, good. special attack minus speed up. That's a good nature. Neutral is not what we want. We want plus attack minus special attack. Chat, if you are there any nerds that know the natures? Oh, never mind. I don't have enough money! No! I have a nugget to sell. We got a nugget earlier this stream. Alright. Jolene. Yo, Jolene, no. Jolene, no. Honestly, that's probably good for 6-7. And also, Dick Licker's not making it into the Elite Four. So yeah, we need to buy another one for Jolene. Do you sell berries? No, you're just a loser. I need the citrus berries, please! Do they grow because of real time or in-game time? Does anyone know how the berries grow? I'm asking for a lot, chat. I recognize that. But I just need citrus berries, please. They bloomed! That's not... Chat. This is what happens. Alright, who was our... Do we have a good nature on Amelia? She's a neutral. Okay. So we need adamant on her as well. So here's the question, chat. We only have one special attacker on the squad. Do you think we should switch Jolene out for Poop Girl, since Poop Girl's a special attacker? That would also give us a fairy type, which we don't have right now. As good as Moxie is, I think the type overlap between Amelia and Jolene is a little bit cringe. I think we go Poop Girl instead. Special attacks are for cowards. So true, though. Okay, we give Lady Knight Flame Charge instead of Night Slash. So if she needs to, she can build her speed up. And then honestly, I think Will-O-Wisp only 85 accuracy in this gen, right? I think Will-O-Wisp anyway. Will-O-Wisp instead of Shadow Sneak. We have Shadow Sneak on Rutger. Oh my goodness, how long does it take the plant to grow? What if I just, like, give up on the citrus berries? And give her a fucking I don't know, the crit boosting one. Just fucking Razor Claw or whatever. Aren't you a Greek warrior? This is your cardio. I wish I could just buy the berries. Like, I would just buy them if I could. But it's just not allowed. They hate the capitalism. Are there any berry bushes here that I just didn't get? Oh, that's muck. It's teasing me. I planted all these berries. And I can't harvest any of them. What if we just do this? Completely confuse our rival. Why are you running back and forth? Don't bother me. I'm berry training right now. Oh, you've got all the evolution stones. Okay, that's cool. Composed of 4 muses from gyms around Ilios. I wonder if there's a champion battle to prepare for. Berry maxing.
That's the problem with today's millennial society. They don't understand the importance of berry maxing. They use their proteins and zincs. No good old-fashioned berries. Not like me, a hard-working alien.
The citrus berries are here! Chat, it's a Christmas miracle. Alright, now we rare candy our way up. Oh, whoops. Hopefully the level cap isn't 57. Or I did just cheat. I guess we'll find out together. Actually, let's teach Bike Wazowski Flamethrower. Just go all in on the special attack. Alright, chat. Elite Four time. Let's go. Okay, so it's the grass and fire. It's the grass and bug guy again. So let's switch to Lady Knight in the front. Or honestly, actually, let's go Bike Wazowski in the front. Danny, I'd like to welcome you to the Elite Four. Seeing how far you've come as a trainer makes me proud. I still remember your first time in my gym. Hee. Alright, I suppose you get your business. As the first member of the newly formed Elite Four, I challenge you to battle. So, Bike Wazowski, I'm gonna need you to shed tail, And we are not Mega Evolving because we want Regenerator right now. Shedtail into Lady Knight. Oh, look at that. Okay. Flame Charge. Oh, Jump Bluff is just locked in. Wait. Oh, AI Exploit. AI Exploit. The AI Exploit with the Jump Bluff Leech Seed abuse. They kept in Shedtail. Yeah, Shedtail's so useful. Okay, good. 58 is definitely level cap. Delmies. This is Grass Ghost, but it gets Steel Stab, right? I think we just Flame Charge again. Keep building our speed. We already outspeed Jump Bluff, though, so, like, we're probably fast enough. Okay, so now Lady Knight, Bitter Blade, this should kill, hopefully. There we go. And I think we just sweep with Lady Knight now. +3 speed, fire type. It's cool that Delmaze gets basically a 3rd stab. Yeah, they do the same thing with Bombardier. I spoke too soon. Crustle, Crustle, Crustle. Crustle's probably gonna go for a rock type attack. We gotta poop, girl. Crab Hammer? I mean, it is a crab. I guess that makes sense. Accelerock? That one makes less sense. Alright, and then we Icy Wind Leafeon. And we should just two-shot here. The Shell Smash Sweeper with priority. Watch out, RU. Snowball. Why aren't you using Ice Beam? I don't think I have the Ice Beam TM. I might be wrong, but I don't think I have the Ice Beam TM. So presumably, I'm guessing that her ace is Mega Rabombi. If I were a gambler, that's what I would gamble on. Nice recoil damage. Alright, we Iron Head. Hello, Winter Emerson. How are you? Alright, here comes the Crustle. This is free. I nearly got total party wiped by the champion, but my Lycanroc managed to sweep 4 mons in a row. Pretty awesome. Alright, let's see if we can kill Ribombee. Yeah, so Mega Ribombee. Haven't seen Mega Ribombee yet. Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty. And it gets Fairy Aura. Oh shit, it outsped us. Oh fuck. Rutger's dead to the hail. You bloomed like a beautiful garden. I just got to the unit review. Your little ascot grew. Good luck with your challenge. Yeah, we don't have Ice Beam. So Icy Wind as coverage is kind of like... I guess we could go Blizzard if we want to gamble, but I don't really want to gamble, you know? Psychic might be good on Poop Girl. We don't really have an answer to fighting types. Aside from, like, just baiting them with our ghost types. Let's see who the gym leaders are. If we have the fighting Psychic lady, then we definitely want Psychic. But as things stand, we're actually in a pretty good position. I like this team. Ice Beam was all the way back in Frostlass Cavern. Well, I guess I didn't find it. I guess I just didn't find it, you know? That's kind of how it goes sometimes. Oh, well... Speak of the devil! You know, because I am only human, I'm not gonna find every hidden item or secret in Fire Emblem. I think we'd prefer Baby Doll Eyes over Icy Wind. Ice coverage is cool and all, but like... I like having the pseudo-intimidate, basically. And I'm guessing your starter is this flying type? And your Mega is gonna be Mega Phalanx. I think we still open with Bike Wazowski. As you know, I'm the muse of dance, which means that balance is the key to me. Show me your most graceful moves. I mean, Shed Tail is kind of like a graceful move. Yeah, so Braviary is the opener. And I think we Shed Tail. Into, hopefully, Crookarook? Hopefully it's going for a Psychic attack. No! Damn, outplayed. That's the always crit one, right? Frost Breath is always crit. Hopefully this kills, though. Oh, not even close! Alright. You're frost breathing. Let's go Rutger. Rutger resists ice. Frost breath is crit and freeze dry is water effective. That is correct. Ooh, interesting. Hangoro. Oh, you're bringing a dark type in on me. Okay. Let's see what you are doing. Crunching? Okay. So if you're crunching, we go 6-7. And that will bait a fighting type move. So we pivot to Rutger. So that is going to bait a crunch again. So we go Amelia. Bullet Punch. Poop Girl is 4 times effective. Believe it or not, because I've played a Pokemon game before, I actually know the fucking type chart. I know. Shocking. PP stalling, this is epic. This is, once again, one of the many reasons why I tell chat not to backseat. Because it's either chat being a dumbass, or chat acting like I'm a dumbass. Do we want... Because you could be setting up. You could have Dragon Dance, you could have Clangorous Soul. Do I want to King Shield? I think you're probably setting up. We go 6-7. Sorry if that was annoying, I'll shut up. You don't have to shut up, but please don't, like, educate me on the Pokemon type chart. You know? Oh, you're a body press sweeper, aren't you? Oh no, that's not good. Okay, let's switch to Poop Girl and fire off Psychics. Because with Iron Defense, we don't want to use one of our physical attackers. Oh, not Body Press, just Sky Uppercut. Okay, that's fair. But anyway, the purpose of that was both to get off Intimidates and to pivot Bike Wazowski in so that we could get him back to full via Regenerator. I don't blame people for not knowing the type matchups. But the thing is, I do know the type matchups! Alright, presumably you're gonna use a Psychic move. So we switch to 6-7. And now you're gonna use a Water move. So we go Bike Wazowski. And we Terrain Pulse. 100 damage, electric type attack. Get fucked. Bike Wazowski is so fun to navigate around with. Because, like, taking advantage of Regenerator before switching him up to being just a really awesome special attacking electric type is so satisfying. I find it stupid that in Sword and Shield, the fighting type legendary who has high defense does not learn the fighting type move that uses defense to attack. My first thought was, oh, it's obviously for balance purposes. But then I remembered Zacian exists. So, like, they weren't thinking about balance when they created that duo. No siree, Bob. The Navarre type is super effective against the Goto type. Slowbro has the niche in competitive because of Regenerator than Mega. Yeah, and I very much doing the same thing with Bike Wazowski. In case anyone is wondering, right, why I gave Poop Girl Psychic for fighting types when she is herself a fairy, it was just in case there was like a Sneasel or something. Regenerator Shredtail is satisfying, there's basically no drawback. Yeah, I mean, you do technically lose a little bit of HP. Oh, shit! Okay, we gotta lock in. Oh, it's a steel fighting type now? Never mind, Amelia wins every day of the week. Phalanx isn't retreating. He's advancing. In the broader scope of the franchise, Fairy type is a Goto. Kinshi Knight is the Goto. Because it was only in Fates. I'll never forget the way you move with your Pokemon, Danny. Please continue through the next door to continue your challenge. Don't mind if I do. Alright, let's revive Poop Girl. Okay, you've got poisoned and water types, if I remember correctly. Honestly, Bike Wazowski, as a good opener, making it this far is cause for celebration. But I'm gonna have to end your little challenge here, Danny. Get ready, I'm ending your party and starting my own. I think we just immediately Mega Evolve. and start firing off terrain pulses. Okay, we got Gliscor. Shed Tail. It would have been nice if we had Icy Wind, but I think Sparkling Aria is probably just fine. Why do they make Hydreigon evolve so late and then have guesses used when it's 10 levels lower than its Evo level? That's because he's a Drake archetype. It evolves later than Solgaleo. That's so silly. That's so silly. Alright, so Poop Girl wiping out Gliscor. Alright, Lantern. We go to 6-7. Earthquake. Hopefully this kills. Otherwise, I think it's gonna hit us with something. Oh, nope. It kills. Okay. Awesome. Earthquake is the move of all time. There's a reason that when talking about the flying type, you don't say it's immune to ground, you say it's immune to earthquake. Yeah, one of the benefits of flying types in Gen 1 is they're immune to earthquake. Unfortunately... because of the Intimidate, I don't trust 6-7 here. No, not Glare! Actually so unepic. Oh, 07 Rutger. Okay, Bike Wazowski, come on out. Set up terrain again. Blast him with Terrain Pulse. And now we've got Mega Gyarados in the back. The only ground type moves anyone uses are Earthquake, Earth Power, or the signature move. Technician Breloom with Bulldoze. Hopefully Bike Wazowski outspeeds. I don't know how much of a speed boost Mega Gyarados gets, and I also don't know how much of a speed boost Mega Cyclizar V gets. But apparently it's enough. And it's enough! You're truly entertaining. I'll never forget your moves. You've earned your place as a proper Elite Four challenger, that's for sure. Please continue through the following door and face the final Elite Four member. Okay, we max revive Rutger. I think Bike Wazowski is just like a good lead. Also, let's give a citrus berry back to Amelia. Wear the Trojan armor to the champion fight? Nah, you gotta be champion Nemona. Alright, oh, you're the flying type. Flying and fire. Okay. Yeah, just open with Bike Wazowski, start zapping birds out of the sky. Danny, I'm so glad you made it this far. It feels like years since we stood in the Sophos Acropolis Temple, gazing up at Team Chimera's legendary beasts with clenched fists. Now they've been defeated, and we stand triumphant. Of course, there's still a challenge ahead of you. It's me. Show me your fiery spirit in battle. Okay, Oricorio. We just immediately Mega Evolve and zap this thing. Focus Sash! Alright, hopefully Quiver Dance doesn't let it outspeed. Revelation Dance. At least we resist it. At least we resist it, because it's fire type. That was so much damage! You fucked up by hating on Oricorio? It was at that moment she knew she fucked up. Terrain Pulse? There we go. Zaptogic is out of the sky. High Roar. Alright, we go Poop Girl. We go Poop Girl. What does Terrain Pulse do? So it's basically Weather Ball, but for terrain. It's a 50 power normal type attack, but when you're in terrain, it becomes 100 power and assumes the type of the terrain. So we have it on Bike Wazowski because on Mega Evolving, he gets Electric Surge, so it becomes a 100 power electric attack. So it's just like a better version of Thunderbolt. Plus, we didn't have the Thunderbolt TM at the time. Weather Ball and Terrain Punch are very cool moves. It's like Beta Terra Blast. Yeah, Weather Ball is like actually really good on niche Pokemon. I think like, what is it, Reuniclus uses it? Or something? Or Politoed. Basically, like, you don't see it super often because it's, you know, it's only can be on weather teams. But like a 100 power move, like if you're like, oh, you know, this Pokemon doesn't get Water Stab or whatever, doesn't get fire, or not even coverage. Yeah, Weather Ball Pelipper plus Hurricane Pelipper. Mega Mandibuzz time, baby. Oh, that thing looks so cool. It is the ultimate bulky Pokemon now, though. Oh no, 6-7, the meme died. Scavenger? Does it restore HP upon kill? That's cool. Your fire grows brighter and brighter. Hehe, you've beaten me, and with that, you've won your challenge. Well, you almost won. But you didn't think we didn't have a champion. A powerful trainer from Ilios, exploring other regions for years, has returned to battle you. Continue through the door behind me and face one final battle. Only then can you become the champion of Ilios. Unfortunately, I found a typo, so 0 out of 10. Bad game. Time for Larry. Oh my god, if it's Larry, I'm gonna lose my mind. I was trying to think of who it might be. Who the fuck are you? You're not Larry. Fire and Dragon? Or Ghost and Dragon, maybe? Annie Ilios. Hi there, Danny. Right? I thought us trainer sweeping the Ilios region's gyms would be, well, a little more intimidating. You're just a pipsqueak. Look, kid, I beat the last Elite Four so bad they ended up disbanding. Once I left Ilios, those Team Chimera losers started getting bold. Ha! I had better things to do than fight a bunch of thugs. Well, I'm back to defend my title as the strongest trainer in Ilios. Let's get this over with. Alright, let's Shed Tail to start out. If it's gonna be a Cerule Edge, I think I'm running under the assumption it's using a fire attack because I would be immune to Ghost. So I think we go Lady Knight. Because we have Flash Fire, and then we have the substitute, we Shadow Claw, and see what happens. One thing I don't like is the champion is even less important in the story than Diantha. Yeah, right? And it really was like, who the fuck are you again? What's going on? If only I'd kept Shadow Sneak. I should have kept Shadow Sneak. Alright. We can just do this rigmarole again, right? And we Shed Tail. This guy's never shown up at all. Exactly. That's what I meant. That's what I meant by, like, who are you? So we safely get Lady Knight in. We're flash fired right now as well. What if at the end of Red and Blue you just fought John Capitalism? Tyrantrum. Okay. Presumably you're about to use rock types, so we go Amelia. Oh, Crunch. Okay, that's fine. Amelia resists that too. Everyone forgets Earthworm also gets Shed Tail. Wait, chat, what move did it use? I looked away! To rewind the VOD. Amelia used Detect. Dragon Claw. Okay, so it's going Dragon Claw. So we go Poop Girl. It used Roar of Time. And then Sparkling Aria. Poop Girl is so slow. Alright, you using a... Okay, you're using a rock attack. We go Amelia. Earthquake. Okay, not what I wanted, but it's fine. We Drain Punch. There we go. Alright, Golisopod, what are you using? Flip turn. Okay. We U-turn into... I think Poop Girl? And then it's gonna flip turn. Scrafty, okay. Unfortunately, Scrafty almost certainly outspeeds. So we go 6-7 to Intimidate. Because otherwise a Moonblast... Oh, no! Because a Moonblast would have been nice there, but, like, unfortunately, pretty sure... You know. So then we go into Lady Knight. Into Emilia. It's insane that it took 6 generations until Pokemon made a T-Rex Pokemon. Yeah, it is kind of crazy, right? Battle of the Drain Punches. I think Amelia wins, though. I think Amelia wins this fight every time. Alright, Golisopod next. So it's flip turning. So we go Bike Wazowski. That leads to Spiritomb. So we switch to 6-7. Dark Pulse. And then we got Bike Wazowski. The fuck is Fiery Rat? What is Fiery Wrath? It's Galarian Moltres' move. Is it like Dark type? Galarian Moltres' signature move. Huh. Yeah, I've never heard of it before. It's just like a stronger version of Dark Pulse. So this thing has Dark Pulse and Fiery Wrath, is what you're telling me. And it has an even higher flinch chance. Huh. Interesting. Alright, we can force your emergency exit with a Shadow Sneak. I don't think this kills, but it does force you out, so it's basically free damage. Cyclizar. Oh no. Is this gonna be... Which Mega Cyclizar is this gonna be? I think we King Shield. Hopefully it's Mega Cyclizar S. Okay, so the minus attack is relevant. Big money for me. Alright, Rutger, time for a sacrificial chip damage play. That's not even like a little bit of damage. That's half HP. Moxie! Double Edge just kind of loses to you, yeah. Anyway, let's switch back to Amelia. This Mega Cyclizar looks better than Koraidon, low-key. Honestly, I think that's just because the crystal art style is better than the 3D models. The 3D models suck ass. We get our Citrus Berry. Cyclizar learns the signature move of the legends. Mine didn't! Mine didn't! I'm stuck firing off Terrain Pulse! To think Poop Girl started this all. She didn't! Quit reinventing history! Jolene started this all! Jolene is our starter! We caught Poop Girl in the wild! I love Poplio, but y'all wouldn't let me have her. You gave me Jolene instead. 4 HP and a dream, baby. Bike Wazowski would never let us down. What? Yeah, I can't believe it. Danny, you're actually stronger than me. I guess I have to be all professional now, huh? I officially grant you the title of champion. Let's get you registered in the Hall of Fame. Congratulations. Quest become champion. Here's my squad. Bike Wazowski, the Cyclizar. 6-7, the Crocodile. Poop Girl, the Primarina. Rutger, the Aegislash. Amelia, the Mine Shell. And Lady Knight, the Cerulege. Welcome to the Hall of Fame! Oh, and it's Nemona! League Champion! Congratulations! Honestly, I'm so glad that we finished this as Nemona because, you know, she's the champion. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. Lizard, fish, sword, weird dog, funky little dead guy. Why are you calling Primarina a fish? She's a seal. This is the canon backstory to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is Nemona's championship team. Now Primarina fish. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. There's probably post-game because there is that one city we haven't visited yet. But I'll be honest, I don't really do Pokemon post-games. And I had such a fun time with this, I feel like, you know, we cut it out here, you know? So, hope y'all have a wonderful day. Good night.